Hey everybody, and thank you for coming to the FirstWatch YouTube channel. My name is Michael, and I appreciate you stopping by. If you're new here, this is a watch channel focusing on everything from industry news, updates, unboxings, reviews, but also we want to get to know folks and have this be a community in which everybody shares their first watch story and their origin story of what got them into watches. So that's kind of what my first video was about. The second video was just a reaction to how there was such an outpouring of support from this community and how well the videos were doing. I just was blown away by it. So if you haven't checked those out, give them a watch. But today, we're jumping into my first real in-depth review of a watch, and it's very fitting that it is a red October watch with this aesthetic going on here. So this is a limited edition release that Long Island Watch Company put out called the Red October. Let me grab it here. It is just a beauty of a watch. Hopefully that's gonna focus up there. I had it sitting under the lume just because it's a little dim in here, and why not show that gorgeous lume off. But I absolutely love this watch. Can't say enough good things about it. And so we're gonna go and do a little bit of a deeper dive on it, pun intended, I guess. But before we do that, let me show off what I've got on wrist today. This is my Orient Symphony. It's a really cool little watch. I actually picked this up while I was hunting for a Bambino. This was many years ago, and Bambinos were all the craze, really difficult to get your hands on, is what I found. I just was not able to find them. They were sold out everywhere. And then through a website called MassDrop, which is now just drop.com, I found this and thought it was really cool and picked it up. And what was so unique about that site is they had little kind of subcategories of folks that were passionate about computers, knives, you name it, watches. And with that, you could go purchase things in bulk and get a better deal. So this was one of those deals. I got a really good deal on it, and I've enjoyed it ever since. Today I've got it on a NATO with matching hardware, so gold, gold keepers, and it's a really cool little watch. But it's not about this one today. We'll talk about this one at a later date, I'm sure. But let's go take a look at the Red October. Alright guys, so we're over here at the desk now to take a little bit of a closer look. Watch fans may notice that this watch very much is inspired by and takes many styling cues from the platinum Rolex Yachtmaster reference 126622. But whereas that reference can cost anywhere from $17,000 to $20,000, this limited edition Islander provides the same looks at a very reasonable price of $349. And just look at this thing. I mean, it really is a beautiful watch, and we'll talk about some of the specs here in just a minute. Specs of this watch are, I believe, identical to the ISL 18. So we've got a 43 millimeter case. Then we've got a lug width of 46 millimeters, I believe. Let's see. Yep, 46 mil. And then a width of 14 millimeters on the thickness. I'm measuring a little bit more than that, but still very close. Now, with this particular watch, you have a screw down crown at the 4 o'clock position and a date at the 3 o'clock position. This dial is a beautifully radiant sunburst blue that has Superluminova on the hands and hour markers, as well as the Islander logo, which is a really cool touch. Now, this has a 120 click unidirectional bezel, very impressive on the tactile and audible clicks, and zero back play at all. I'm just gonna get this close so the mic can pick it up. But yeah, just a wonderful dial on this and a wonderful bezel. Really nice combination. Now, the changes made for this release compared to the ISL 18 include the addition of the red seconds hand, as you can see right there. Polished center link bracelets. So this bracelet has nice polished center links, whereas in the past you would have had the brushed stainless steel. And then of course the special edition case back here, the Red October case back. As you can see, mine is number 5 out of 200. Now, one thing in particular about this Red October that was not included with this watch is the clasp. So I've customized this a little bit more, purchased this V clasp from the Long Island watch store. I think it really elevates this look a little bit more, and it actually gives you more micro adjustments right here. So I've got the clasp that came on the watch when I first purchased it. Now, as you can see here, this is a little bit of a smaller clasp. It does, it's still a great clasp, don't get me wrong. It's a nice milled clasp, but when you compare the two, I like the look that you get with a larger clasp. I really think the V clasp makes it look a little bit more just elegant, and then you do get more micro adjustments there. So if that is something that you want a little bit more customization, definitely I would recommend these. It's a cheap upgrade, and it just looks great. Familiar with the Islander and you think that maybe it appears a little bit large or might not be suitable for your wrist, I have a 7.5 inch wrist. I think that this is a very comfortable watch, makes for a great daily wear. It's a great fit, and honestly, even for folks that are pushing a little bit smaller, maybe not a 7.5 inch wrist, I've still seen folks really wear this watch well. But there it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. Another thing that is worth mentioning with this particular model is the drilled lugs. This is actually the first watch I've owned that had drilled lugs, and it's something that I'm always going to be looking for in my watch purchases moving forward, just because of the simplicity and how easy it is to go from various steel bracelets to rubber straps, leather straps, you name it. Strap changes on this thing are a breeze. So I'm going to do a quick little transition and just show some of the various straps that I've purchased, so you can get an idea of how you can further customize these watches. All right, so now I've switched it out for the Jubilee bracelet. I actually love it on this bracelet. I think it just really is a very good look on this bracelet, and this is actually a really comfortable bracelet. I just think it looks really impressive on the Jubilee. It came on the polished center link Oyster bracelet, but I shortly bought this Jubilee after, and I like it on both. I've been wearing it more on the Oyster lately, but this Jubilee bracelet just is beautiful. And you'll also note that I have on this as well another V clasp. Ooh, tongue twister. So I bought 2 of these, so I keep one always on this bracelet, and then I have another that I always keep on the Oyster, and it just makes strap changes all the easier. So anytime I want to go back and forth, I don't also have to remove the clasp, which is very convenient. Now we're going to remove the Jubilee, and we're going to show you what it looks like on a rubber strap, like a Crafter Blue, for instance. All right, so now we've got it on the Crafter Blue rubber strap. This is a very high quality strap. They're not cheap either. I don't remember the exact amount of money I paid for this, but I think well over $40 or $50 for a rubber strap. They over-engineer the thing. You do have this textured underside that is designed to wick sweat away from the wrist and from underneath the watch. Another interesting feature about these actually is that and I read this online before I bought it, but I didn't really believe it, I guess, is that they are scented. So this has a faint vanilla scent. So when you are wearing it, you're out doing activities, or out in nature, or doing any number of recreational activities, or if you just live in a hot place like I do, you know, that it doesn't smell bad. So it's an interesting feature, but something I thought I'd mention nonetheless. Now, I will go ahead and throw this on my wrist so you can get an idea of how it looks. I do think it's a great looking band. I think, like I said, over-engineered and really high quality. Really nice buckle, and then on the, you know, the retainer here, it's actually a signed retainer as well with Crafter Blue branding. So, you know, really nice. It's lightweight. I do sometimes wish it was a little bit softer. You know, it's a little bit firm, but you know, I don't really have too many gripes about it. Now, of course, I am curious to try the Long Island watch bracelets now, or rubber straps. I've asked Mark, you know, when they came out, what his, you know, kind of comparison between these two would be. He says he's heard that they're a little bit more supple, a little softer, and so you might get a little bit more comfort out of it. I don't know. But then you always have FKM straps as well, and you can always take a look at, you know, on Amazon, Barton bands as well. I've had, you know, good success with those. So, you know, we've got the couple different options here. We've got on the rubber, Jubilee, and then of course the polished center link oyster style. Really can't go wrong with any of them, but those drill lugs afford you the ability to swap out, you know, on a very easy, you know, couple second change here and there, which I do really love and appreciate. Now let's go ahead and get these out of the way, and I just want to talk about kind of the launch of this watch and what was really interesting about this watch as it, you know, went to market. So what was very interesting is that this watch started getting discussed around September of 2020, and you know, at that time it was likely ready to be slated and marketed as the Red October. But on the last day of October, the sad news of Sean Connery's passing went worldwide, and Mark even mentioned this in his video. You know, Connery, who was in his 90s, very famous for many roles, James Bond being one of them, but also famous for his role as Captain Marco Ramius in the 90s submarine spy thriller, The Hunt for Red October. So while this watch, you know, was going to be dubbed that just because of the time frame that it was going to be released in and because of this unique red seconds hand, now it took on a whole new meaning, and it was already slated to be called Red October, and then the star of that movie, really an iconic actor of our generation, passes away. So this becomes like a little bit more of a tip of the hat to Sean Connery. Now, you know, as we look at this case back here, you're definitely going to notice that there is a submarine. It does have kind of a, you know, vintage military, you know, theme to go with that submarine motif and the Red October motif. You also have the Islander branding and a little compass rose, and then the numbered case back, mine being 5 out of 200. Now for me, this was kind of a special purchase because this was A, my first Islander watch, but B, with it being released right around October, November, my birthday was in October, and when I bought this, at the time of buying this, it was signifying the end of my 20s and the start of my 30s. So it was like a little memento, little treat to myself to kind of commemorate that. And with it being a release that was going to come out in October, it ended up getting pushed to November, but you know, kind of right on time for a birthday, you know, watch. Now, if you're kicking yourself because you wanted this watch and you weren't able to secure one or get an allocation, or maybe you're just finding out about Islander watches, you're just finding out about this particular watch, there's a couple things you can do. You know, of course, you can go buy an ISL 18. Long Island watch also has parts to modify, so you can, you know, take on a little project, do the modifications yourself, and add this red seconds hand. You're not, you know, of course, you're not going to be able to get this limited edition case back, but you really can, you know, achieve this look fairly easily. And if that's maybe a little bit too much of an undertaking, then you can always go with their newly released ISL 134. Now, the 134 is a new model, and it's got a sunburst blue dial just like this. It's got red accents and red seconds hand, and then there's even one similar to this look that I've got now with a blue strap. They've got a blue suede strap, and it's got red stitching. So you really can get a similar watch, similar spirit, and a great new offering from Long Island Watch, and they've got those on the Long Island Watch website. I'll put the link to that one down below if you do want to go check it out, but I really cannot say enough good things about this watch. It's probably gets the most wear time out of any in the collection right now, and I'm really fortunate and really happy that I was able to get this a couple years back. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in today. We're gonna hang this one up, but I do appreciate you coming and checking out one of my favorite watches that I own, the Red October. If you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing, liking, and of course, I wanna hear your thoughts about this watch. If you've had any other Islander watches for that matter, let me know what you like from Long Island Watch Company. And if there's any watches that you're anticipating on getting or you want us to review, let me know. I do have some cool stuff that I picked up during the AliExpress sale. I stayed up late last night into the morning to ensure that I could secure some of these purchases. In hindsight, I probably could have slept in because it looked like there was still allocations and availability on the ones I was looking at this morning. But I was very excited for it. We've got, I think, 3 new pieces coming to the channel, so be on the lookout for that. But again, thank you everybody for tuning in today, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.